Hello and welcome. With me today is Lieutenant General Anindya Sengupta, the Central Army Commander of the Indian Army, looking after what is called in the technical parlance the middle sector of the line of actual control, which consists of Uttarakhand and Himachal at the moment, the two states which are facing the northern frontier. Welcome to this program, General.
Thank you so much, Nitin. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining us. In fact, you just met one of our teams in the remote location at Sumdo, and obviously Central Command is less focused in the public mind. I'm not saying in the Army's scheme of things, but in the public mind. So just to give a background, set a background and kind of have a idea about what Central Command is all about, what is its importance. Can you tell us a bit about what the role of this command is and what is the jurisdiction, what is the area of responsibility that you have?
Thank you, Nitin, for asking me this very relevant question. And it is actually a command which holds the central part of India and is responsible for 8 states spreading from Himachal to Odisha, which covers 300 districts. And on the northern or the northwestern part, we have the line of actual control going over the borders of Tibet with Uttarakhand and Himachal.
Sure.
Over some of the harshest terrain, if I may say, existing in the world.
Sure.
And it touches heights at 19 and 20,000 at times.
Wow.
And while we guard that, along with ITBP, we also stand shoulder to shoulder with the local population there. And the civil community there, being a remote area, is also part of our task, mission, operations, as whatever you may call.
Yeah.
And we are hand in glove with them to develop the infrastructure, to ensure their growth there, to empower them, and I shall talk later about how we are ensuring that more and more of them settle down there. Along with that, these two areas, Himachal and Uttarakhand, also have a large number of religious significant places like Char, routes to Kailash Mansarovar, famous passes like Ship Kila, Lipu Lake, and a lot of old linkages, historical linkages of trade to Tibet, also of spread of Buddhism to Tibet from here. The trade via 6 passes, the Ship Kila area, Mana, Niti, Kungri Bingrila, Lampia Dhura, Lipu Lake, has been historic and has been recorded even in the Panchsheel agreement.
Exactly. In fact, way back in 1954, it was decided, yeah.
And currently, Ship Kila and Lipu Lake are again in focus.
Okay.
And while there is a current thaw in the relationships with China, however, our guard as soldiers remains what it is. And we are very vigilant on these areas, which I shall also talk about later on, how we are using technology, etc. We share also a border with Nepal. We are also looking at resettlement in certain remote places where people have evacuated from their border villages. We are also facilitating various yatras, expeditions, whether spiritual or adventure in nature, they are being facilitated by us. Large number of infrastructural development activities have also been noticed across the LAC. Over the last 5 years, the G219, the famous one, has developed a lot. Along with that, nearer to us, nearer to the LAC, 695 has developed.
Correct.
The Purang airfield has come up in a major way near Taklakot, bordering the Tri-Junction area which you just spoke about. And a large number of Shocking or Chinese villages have come up on the in the Sutlej Valley, you may say. The billeting capability of the PLA has also increased. However, we are also focusing on development of infrastructure, modernization and capability development as armed forces who are deployed there.
So lots of roads have also now come up in your sector. You have all the, but it's such a long stretch of your command area of responsibility. So what's your thing there?
If you see the terrain in that area, the terrain across the LAC in the Sutlej Valley area, spreading right up to Mansarovar, is quite even compared to the terrain on our side.
Exactly.
I said even because you cannot classify as the Depsang plains or the Aksai Chin plains. Right. It is not an undulating plain. It has got broken features in between, but relatively compared to what is existing on our side of the watershed, it is very negotiable. On our side, what happens is Sutlej, Parechu and various other rivers which flow from the watershed towards the south create these valleys. And along these sectors, we are working along with BRO. BRO is taking the lead in making a large number of roads, and the NHAI is also making a large number of roads here.
That's right.
For example, over the last 1 year, 215 kilometers of road construction has occurred here. And towards infrastructure development, as Surya Command only, we have developed infrastructure worth 600 crores.
Okay. Okay. So, looking at the terrain again and the geographical stretch, just to give an idea to people, actually your border of Central Command or Surya Command stretches from almost near southeastern Ladakh right up to the Nepal side of the eastern part of your area of responsibility. Isn't that the correct picture to give?
That's a very correct picture, and none of the passes are less than 14,000 feet.
Correct.
Because these are part of the greater Himalayan range, the Sanskar range. And these passes are mostly not approachable by roads. Both the sides have started building roads, tracks to connect to these passes. And in this area, very few disputes exist. They do exist, but they are not that much in number as compared to Eastern Ladakh or Eastern sector. However, that is not an excuse for letting down the guard, because in this area, claims and counterclaims of historical nature do exist.
In fact, talking about claims and counterclaims, the first dispute occurred, if I am not wrong, in Barahoti,
Yes.
which is in your sector, in your area of responsibility,
Exactly.
way back in the 1950s.
Yes.
So, does that remain still a pending issue?
That has been discussed at the highest level between both the nations, and it remains as a pending issue currently.
But that is actually should have been was the principle across the LAC.
Exactly.
But we'll get into that later. We'll talk about vibrant villages and what you're doing for the remote located communities. But of late the thaw that you spoke about also speaks about an early harvest between India and China.
How they are going to go ahead and demarcate and take the talks ahead is still on the drawing board, and we are not discussing it on ground as such.
Not yet.
So I am constrained to.
That's
take
okay.
it
I mean,
further from
I
here.
just wanted to say that that was the mention in the statement, joint
Yeah,
statement.
exactly. It was right there in the open domain.
Yeah, and like you mentioned about religious places, I can't help but mention that I travelled to Mansarovar and did the parikrama recently via the Nathula Pass.
Exactly.
So that used to be the pilgrimage going actually from Lipu Lake was the shortest route, and actually from the other side, from Demchok, it is supposed to be the shortest route. So let us see how that pans out. But let me move on to the vibrant villages and also the communities that you are looking after. What are the measures you've taken? You just recently opened, I think, a community radio station or something of that kind there. So just tell us a little bit more about that.
As I had said earlier, the border areas here are of extreme importance because the population which resides in these border areas bears historical linkages to areas across the LAC, also to the places of religious significance, also to our hinterland.
Right.
And while we do not have to create new villages to populate this area, we already have a resident population here. So it is extremely important that we help them grow further,
and stay there.
economically grow, make the area grow, empower them, and with this in mind, we are in close concert with the civil administration, the local administration, the local leadership which exists at grassroots level, so that with interaction we are able to decipher their needs and work out measures so that our development of infrastructure, our development of economy there is in line with their growth.
What they want actually at the local level, yeah.
And we work at empowering the community. For example, in skill development, we are working at certain projects for pulp, apple pulp making, factories which had gone into disuse because of various reasons. We are helping them grow again, so that from women empowerment to leading to even making those herbs available, they have some sort of a small economy growing there. We work on assisting the local children in their education, as well as tourism, whether be it of spiritual kind or of adventure kind.
Right.
And engagement with the youth is a major thing we take initiatives for. In our long-term vision, we are looking at promoting migration back into that area and creating sustained livelihood and infrastructural development. We want to have a secured and empowered border area, and we want to go towards an integrated development model where the civil administration, we and the ITBP work together for sustainable growth in the area.
Okay. So that also community radio is one way of connecting them, I
Exactly.
think. You've done a number of them now of late.
We felt that in these remote areas, because of lack of mobile connectivity, also lack of line connectivity, because lines do get disturbed by a lot of landslide, avalanches which occur there. There is a need of FM channel running everywhere. So we have worked on where our troops are stationed and where we are running certain goodwill schools. Pithoragarh, Joshimath and Poo in Himachal were the initial community radio stations in this area.
Right.
Now we are establishing one at Gyu and next one at Gunji.
I see.
So we are taking things forward. So when, say for example, a tourist is traveling in a lonely car in late evening, he is still hearing some good music
Yes.
and also getting updates, whether it may be on the weather, it may be on the
Road
happenings
condition,
around,
yeah.
road conditions, and it also helps the population gain access to various knowledge bases. We get experts to speak upon agriculture, growth of herbs,
Okay.
maybe physical fitness,
Right.
how to avoid mountain sickness, how to take up a new skill, those kind of things also. And government initiatives, obviously we...
So actually
keep pushing it
interconnection
ahead.
is the connecting the villages with the military and the others is taking place, which is a good thing. Like you said, they will stay on. If you get those facilities, that will happen. But given the fact that the Indian Army as a whole is now moving towards becoming a tech-enabled, tech-empowered kind of a force, how are you using technology in different ways to overcome maybe the handicap of a very hostile terrain, and what are the measures that you're taking in that sector, in that respect basically?
Earlier, technology used to be driven by the armed forces. But of late, what has happened is it has overtaken us, and we have to adopt technology and then we have to adapt to it. And both are fine with us.
Right.
What we feel in Surya Command is that technology has to be adopted, and it has to be adapted in such a manner that our operations are assisted by that existing technology to increase our efficacy in the battlefield, in the logistics, in the administration of troops.
Right.
And currently the procurement procedures have been loosened up post of Sindoor, and we are going in for procuring a large amount of weapon system enablers, mobility enablers, as well as protective systems.
Okay.
Also related are communication and AI, of course.
Okay.
Unmanned systems seem to be the flavor of the day also. And we have to ensure that the surveillance, the warning, the communication related to both of them, the reaction, the mobility for the reaction, and the protection during the mobility, as well as the way our troops stay there, the way the logistics are maintained, are sustained by technology. For example, we are procuring a large number of drones.
Right.
But it does not mean that the drones are going to replace the soldier. It's
It
not
can't
going to
be.
happen.
Can't be, yeah.
It's not going to happen. We have also got unmanned vehicles,
Right.
but they will not replace the soldiers. What they will do is, it will enhance his reach. It will enhance, it will mitigate the risks which he faces when in contact. It will ensure that he has eyes at places where he can't see physically.
Sure.
We have got better night vision devices now, better radars, so that we are able to see the unseen areas. We are also able to reach places because of all-terrain vehicles, various quick reaction vehicles, and various ways we can cross obstacles like small rivulets, stony patches, steep slopes, and carry more loads, possibly by unmanned vehicles which can take up to 100 odd kilos.
Very good.
And problem of accommodation is a major thing there,
I'm sure.
because you cannot expect troops to stay at -30
Out in the open or in temporary shelters.
even in temporary shelters,
yeah.
and using that kerosene Bukhari always, which has been there for the last 75 years.
Exactly.
We are working at things, how to get it warmed up without smelling kerosene along with it, and the risk of asphyxiation being there. We are working at the clothing so that it becomes more effective and has less weight.
Right.
And obviously precision in firepower, cyber resilience of various systems, and counter these emerging threats like drones, which were seen in Op Sindoor, are our focus area.
Talking about Op Sindoor, now the new term and the new buzzword, if I can use that term, is about multi-domain operations. And LAC, of course, for India, it stretches from east to west, west to east, whatever you want to call it, at over 4,000 kilometers. And central sector remains actually the center of gravity in a way, because the two sectors are more disputed, more in focus. But because there's no focus, you have to be more vigilant, I suppose, like you mentioned. So how does MDO play into all this new, tactic strategy that you may adopt?
There's another term which is linked to the multi-domain operations. That is the grey zone.
Yes, then that our adversary is very adapted, is what everybody keeps claiming.
And that is, he has gone
That's
into
what-
our cognitive domain to say so.
Yeah, exactly. He's entered into the cognitive domain.
But possibly we have also ventured into his cognitive domain.
Right.
And we are also making quite a bit of headway there. We are studying this grey zone in a very different manner. That different manner is because our perception is that it has been applicable to us since the time the LC and the LAC was created.
Sure.
And it is also applicable in all types of warfare, and earlier what we used to call as no war, no peace. Since the grey zone is applicable, the way of warfare which has developed along with it is encompassing a large number of domains, whether it be diplomacy, information, the military itself, the economy, information warfare, electronic warfare, cyberspace, etc. And if you take an example of a cyber attack happening somewhere in the world and its effect being felt in another part of the world, and finally we are losing some business, it is part of that grey zone multi-domain operations which is happening. So how does it function at the granular level, and what is our strategic thought behind it? At the granular level, we have small transgressions at times occur, whether intentional, unintentional is never known. But as soldiers on the ground, we always look for intention behind it, and we counter it whatever we do. This would be in the physical domain of multi-domain operations. In the electronic domain, possibly interfering with electronic signals at a very low intensity may be a way of expressing your sort of dissent to certain activities on the
or
LAC.
transmitting their intention in a way.
Transmitting intention or trying to show dissent or trying to jam communication may be a stronger form of an action. Now, whether this action is because of another action taken in another sector or in another domain is a very complex issue to define as such.
Exactly.
You cannot say that because a ship moved in the wrong lane in Indian Ocean, therefore there was a transgression in Vipul Lake. It can't happen like that.
No, it doesn't.
However, at the granular level, it is more of within the sector activities. In the middle sector, we have had a very decent level of relationship with the adversary. There have been protest notes exchanged whenever such transgressions occur, and issues are resolved between the commanders meeting on the ground. So we keep the tensions at that level.
But collusivity is another issue, isn't it? Because Pakistan, China, now we are actually, people are saying we are fighting two adversaries at the same time. Operation Sindoor demonstrated that. How do you deal with that kind of a collusivity?
Collusivity was played out almost in the physical domain, where in Op Sindoor, you rightly mentioned that they were using the equipment which was made in China.
Correct.
That is true, and that is the first time it has occurred for us. In the northern borders, collusivity in this physical form obviously will not occur. We will be dealing with only one adversary. However, actions on the western borders to counter actions or supporting actions on the northern borders is something which is in the domain of reality, and we have to be attentive and vigilant for it.
Absolutely.
And that's what we are there for.
So that's what I think, this is a very nicely described grey zone and MDO coming together kind of a concept that you spoke about, because as things pan out, it's going to just only increase. And I think one of the key areas which the Indian Army overall is looking at, and I think I'm sure Central Command is part of that, is to counter the cognitive warfare in that domain. Also look at more probably countermeasures in the electronic warfare sector. So in that sense, is every command now being empowered with the kind of technology that you require? That's my last kind of a thought from you that I needed to know.
Before Op Sindoor and post Op Sindoor, technological infusion for the last 5 or 6 years has been the focus of Indian Army. It has been coming in various forms, in various domains. And right now it has become more visible post Op Sindoor because of a large amount of procurements which have come into the public domain.
Sure.
However, the induction and the infusion into our techniques and procedures and induction into our formation is going on at a good rate. And we are looking at surveillance, ISR, technical driven monitoring of the LAC in our context. Similarly, all the other formations dealing with northern borders are doing. And we are looking at mobility, protection, and more efficient administrative setup, a supply chain which is more resilient, and a logistics system which can sustain operations.
I can see that, and let me just end with the remark that the journey towards theatre commands is actually based on bringing in more combat efficiency and effectiveness as we go along. And I think treating the northern front as one, or maybe an adversary specific theatre command would be one of the answers, is what a lot of people are talking about. But let us see how it pans out. But thank you very much for the details and insights on the Central Command, the Surya Command, and the area of responsibility that you deal with. It was a very insightful and informative discussion, I must say. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, Nitin.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much for inviting.
Keep watching our channels, both Bharat Shakti and Strat News Global. You know where to reach us. Your comments are extremely important. So do reach out to us, and of course, like and share this particular interaction with the Central Army Commander, Lieutenant Anindya Sen Gupta. I am Nitin Gokhale.
Where the mountains meet the sky across Himachal Pradesh. Surya Command soldiers on eternal guard along the middle sector. The frontier with China-occupied Tibet. In-depth, on-the-ground reports. Along the Satluj. Cultural, religious and human bridges across borders. Central Command, ever ready and prepared. A comprehensive documentary series, LAC logs along Himachal's Himalayan heights.